And I'm like, it just pisses me off. And then
you're good. Take a break. Take a break.
Yeah, take a breather.
Jake Paul is freaking out right now because Mike Tyson is absolutely owning the momentum game. I mean, the guy came back from the worst kind of pain, and he's training like he's got superpowers. You've probably seen those training videos. It's like watching a superhero in action. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is still riding high on his recent TKO victory over Mike Perry. Can you believe he's got over 3 or 4 YouTube channels where he just keeps posting videos about how awesome he is? Someone needs to remind him that Mike Perry is just a BKFC champ. He should probably save all that celebration for when he faces Tyson, if that win ever happens, which I'm pretty sure is not in his stars. So why is Jake so chill, you ask? Well, there's a pretty big secret behind it, and it's time to spill the beans. In just 3 months, on November 15th, the boxing world is gearing up for a showdown that's got everyone buzzing. Jake Paul, our favorite YouTuber turned boxer, is set to face off against the legendary Mike Tyson. And this fight is being hyped as one of the greatest in boxing history, and for good reason. On one side, we've got Jake Paul, a social media superstar with just 4 years of boxing under his belt. On the other, there's Mike Tyson, a living legend with over 40 years of experience. The contrast is insane, and it's exactly this crazy difference that's got everyone on the edge of their seats. Jake Paul's leap from YouTube antics to the boxing ring is wild. He started out making videos that cracked up millions, but then he decided to switch gears and throw punches instead of jokes. Yet, Jake Paul just keeps going. His confidence is through the roof, and he seems to love playing the underdog who's shaking up the boxing world. Some folks say it's his rock-solid belief in himself. Others think it's all part of a clever plan to stay in the limelight. After all, controversy makes headlines, and Jake's a master at staying relevant in the social media circus. Just look how innocent he acts.
So it's gotta be rigged. No way he would do this. This is impossible that Jake beat this. It's like,
frustrated.
Hey, they're allowed on the road. This is scary. You're about to have a daughter, bro. She's gonna be in your car, in your backseat, and there's people out there.
Now, the upcoming fight against Mike Tyson is the ultimate test for Jake Paul. Tyson, even at 58, is still a beast in the ring. His recent comeback has shown he's still got the speed, power, and ferocity that made him a legend. For Jake, this fight isn't just about shutting up his critics. It's about making history. It's a huge gamble, and everyone's watching, holding their breath. But why is Jake so unbothered? Well, it's not just about experience and skill, though those help. It's the overconfident, brash talk that gets everyone riled up. Despite his relatively short boxing career, Jake Paul exudes this crazy level of confidence, almost tipping into arrogance. And that sparked a huge debate in the boxing community. Is Jake's confidence legit, or is he just putting on a big show? One name that keeps popping up is Ryan Garcia, a 25-year-old professional boxer known for his lightning-fast speed and knockout power. Garcia's record is spotless, 23 wins and 0 losses as of 2023. A match between Jake and Garcia would be like fireworks, an even match in terms of age and experience, and a massive draw for the boxing community and fans worldwide.
To kill you. Got real bad.
Then there's Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, both in Jake's age bracket. Haney, also 25, has an undefeated record and is famous for his technical skills and defensive prowess. Lopez, at 26, shot to fame after defeating Vasyl Lomachenko in 2020, showing he can take down top-tier opponents. These guys would be no walk in the park for Jake, and would really test his boxing abilities against seasoned professionals. Imagine the credibility boost. Fighting opponents like Garcia, Haney, or Lopez would shut up a lot of Jake's critics who say his record is padded with wins against non-boxers or over-the-hill fighters. These matches would be a true test of Jake's skill and determination, earning him respect in the boxing community. Plus, beating any of these fighters would skyrocket Jake's credibility and legacy in the sport. Jake's rise to fame has been fueled by these non-traditional matches, by fighting former athletes from other sports, like NBA player Nate Robinson and MMA fighters Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley. He's drawn a wide audience that goes beyond just boxing fans. These matches are more like spectacles, mixing entertainment with sport and appealing to a broader crowd. This strategy has worked wonders for Jake, keeping him in the headlines and solidifying his status as a social media and boxing sensation. Critics, though, keep hammering on the point that for Jake to be taken seriously, he needs to face real competition, fighters who can truly challenge him. But Jake has even made fun of this idea.
Well, he hasn't fought a real boxer yet. But in my head, I'm like, well, didn't you beat 2 boxers
in a row in the first round
with winning records?
Yes. One was 17-2 and one was 10-1. And looking in the comments, they're like, he still hasn't fought a real boxer. It's like, you guys are idiots.
His undefeated record is impressive, but when you look at his opponents, it raises questions. By consistently picking fighters who are either past their prime or not professional boxers, Jake has maintained his record, but also fueled doubts about his legitimacy as a serious contender. Despite the criticism, Jake's approach has undeniably brought him success. His fights draw huge viewership, and he stays in the spotlight in a highly competitive industry. The controversy over his choice of opponents only adds to the intrigue, making each fight a must-watch event. Jake's knack for generating interest and maintaining a high profile is a testament to his understanding of the entertainment aspect of sports. Comparing Jake's career with Mike Tyson's really cranks up the debate. Tyson, with over 40 years of experience and a record of knocking out some of boxing's greatest, stands in stark contrast to Jake. Tyson's career is legendary. Youngest heavyweight champ at 20. Famous knockouts against Trevor Berbick, Larry Holmes, and Michael Spinks. Meanwhile, Jake's victories are against guys with no pro boxing experience. Critics love to point this out. Then there's the psychological angle. Some think Jake's over-the-top confidence is a tactic, a form of psychological warfare to mess with his opponents and grab media attention. By acting like he's invincible, Jake might be trying to get inside his opponents' heads before the fight even starts. Controversial, sure, but it works for keeping him in the headlines. Now, you might be thinking, hey man, at least Jake won those fights with a TKO? One of the hottest debates about Jake Paul's boxing career is how he's winning, especially those technical knockouts, TKOs. To really get why this is such a big deal, we need to understand the difference between a TKO and a KO, and why Jake's string of TKO wins has everyone talking. So a technical knockout, TKO, happens when the ref stops the fight because one fighter can't safely continue. This can be because the fighter is too dazed, can't defend themselves, or has a nasty injury. The referee has to make a snap decision about whether the fighter can keep going, looking at their condition, their reactions, and how well they can protect themselves. On the flip side, a knockout KO is when a fighter is down for the count and can't get up within 10 seconds. It's clear as day. They're out, and there's no debate. Now, Jake Paul's run of TKO wins is what's causing a stir. Critics say these wins, while technically legit, often leave too much room for doubt. Take his fight with Ben Askren on April 17, 2021, for example. It ended in the first round with a TKO. Askren was clearly dazed and wobbly, but some fans and commentators felt the ref stopped the fight too soon. They argued that Askren, known for being tough in MMA, could have continued, but the ref played it safe. This trend didn't stop there. Jake's fights with Tyron Woodley followed a similar pattern. The first bout on August 29, 2021 ended in a split decision. In the rematch on December 18, 2021, Jake knocked Woodley out. The big issue with Jake's TKO wins is the role of the referee. Some boxing experts and fans think the refs in Jake's fights are being extra cautious, maybe too cautious. This cautious approach is meant to protect the fighters, but it's led to accusations that the refs are giving Jake an unfair advantage by stopping fights too early. Critics say this pattern of TKO wins raises questions about how fair and legitimate his matches really are. The same scrutiny hit the TKO win over Mike Perry. Perry, known for his toughness, was stopped by the ref after taking several hard hits. Critics argued that while Perry was in a tough spot, he'd shown in past fights that he could take a beating and keep going. The early stoppage made people wonder if the refs were favoring Jake, consciously or not, by being overly cautious. Tyson's recent return began with his exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. on November 28, 2020. This fight, sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, was Tyson's first official fight in over 15 years. Both fighters were well past their prime. Tyson was 54 and Jones was 51. But the bout drew enormous attention. It ended in a split draw, but honestly, no one cared about the result. The sheer thrill of seeing Tyson back in action, moving with a speed and agility that belied his age, reminded everyone why he was once the most feared man in boxing. To get back into fighting shape, Tyson went through a grueling training regime involving intense physical conditioning, strategic sparring sessions, and a strict diet. He teamed up with renowned MMA trainer Rafael Cordero, who helped him shed significant weight and regain his fitness. Tyson's training videos, often shared on social media, showcased a boxer who, despite the years, still possessed the devastating power and speed that made him a legend. Watching those clips, it's like time had barely touched him. Tyson's ability to capture the public's imagination again and generate immense hype underscores his status as one of the greatest and most beloved figures in boxing history. And he's all set to give Jake a brutal lesson that his entire family tree will be talking about for generations.